Stop scrolling. What I'm about to show you is legitimately insane, and it just changed 40 minutes ago. Minneapolis is colder than Mars right now, negative 43 degrees actual temperature, while Tampa, Florida, sitting at 70 degrees, could see snow tonight. And between those two extremes, a bomb cyclone with the power of a Category 2 hurricane is about to detonate, burying 90 million people under snow. That's nearly 1 in 3 Americans directly in the path of this thing. And here's what the news isn't telling you. The European model just shifted this storm 20 miles west in the last hour, which means cities that thought they dodged this are now ground zero. I've been forecasting weather for 15 years, and what I'm seeing right now is making my hands shake. This is that serious. Drop your city in the comments right now because the next 12 hours are absolutely critical, and I mean life or death critical. Let me show you exactly what's happening, because when you see these numbers, you're going to understand why every meteorologist I know is freaking out. This low pressure system is dropping from 1,005 millibars to potentially 965 millibars in just 24 hours. For perspective, that's pressure dropping faster than Hurricane Katrina. Except this is January, and it's full of snow instead of rain. When systems explode like this, they produce snowfall rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour. That's faster than plows can clear roads. And wait until you see the wind forecast, because this is where people are going to die if they're not prepared. We're talking sustained winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour, with gusts up to 80 along the Carolina coast. That's literally hurricane force. Cape Hatteras could see gusts approaching 80 to 85 miles per hour, while snow is falling at 2 to 3 inches per hour. You combine those two things and you get complete whiteout conditions where you cannot see your hand in front of your face. People have literally died walking from their house to their car in conditions like this because they got disoriented in the whiteout. Now here's what's fueling this monster and why it's developing so explosively. Pay attention, because this is textbook. Right now there's a 140-degree temperature difference from coast to coast. New York at 28 degrees, LA at 68 degrees. That kind of extreme gradient is what creates these explosive bomb cyclones. It's like putting a match to gasoline. Arctic air diving down from Canada, Gulf moisture surging north, and they're going to collide in about 6 hours right off the Carolina coast. When those two air masses hit each other, boom, that's when this thing detonates into a full-blown winter hurricane. But here's the part that's got my attention and why this could be absolutely catastrophic for some areas. Because the air is so Arctic cold and dry, we're looking at snow ratios that could hit 15 to 1 or even 20 to 1. Normally, snow falls at a 10 to 1 ratio. Half inch of moisture gives you 5 inches of snow. That's standard. But with these Arctic ratios, that same half inch of moisture is now producing 8 to 10 inches of snow, maybe more. That's why the snow totals have been exploding upward with every new model run that comes in. This is pure physics. And check this out, because this is where it gets absolutely bonkers, and nobody saw this coming 48 hours ago. We could see Gulf effect snow showers in Tampa Bay, Florida tonight. I need you to understand how crazy that sounds. Tampa was 70 degrees yesterday, Orlando sitting at 75, and tonight they might see snowflakes, potentially even a dusting. The last time Tampa saw measurable snow was 1977. That's 49 years ago. This is historically rare stuff. Jacksonville at 48 degrees could see flurries, even Miami with wind chills dropping into the low 20s Sunday morning. The fact we're even discussing snow in Florida shows you just how absolutely extreme this Arctic outbreak is. But Florida's getting off easy compared to what's about to hit the Carolinas. And this is where you need to pay very close attention. Raleigh, North Carolina, you're looking at 6 to 10 inches of snow with legitimate blizzard conditions. This is not a drill. Charlotte, 6 to 8 inches. Greensboro, 4 to 8 inches. Winston-Salem, same range. Durham, 4 to 8 inches with dangerous travel. Greenville, South Carolina, 4 to 8 inches. Spartanburg looking at potentially the biggest snow you've seen in 20 years. But wait until you see what's coming for the coast, because this is where the model just went absolutely insane. Norfolk, Virginia, you're staring down 8 to 12 inches, potentially more, with blizzard warnings, coastal flooding, and hurricane force winds.
Virginia Beach, 4 to 8 inches. Chesapeake, 6 to 10 inches. The Outer Banks could see over a foot with 60 to 80 mile per hour gusts.
When you combine a foot of snow with 80 mile per hour winds, you get what's called a blizzard. And I mean a real blizzard. Not just heavy snow, a blizzard has a specific definition. Sustained winds over 35 miles per hour, visibility under a quarter mile, lasting 3 hours. We're expecting all of that Saturday night into Sunday, and in those conditions, you literally cannot see anything. Now let me show you what's happening with the rest of the eastern United States, because this Arctic blast is absolutely brutal. Minneapolis and St. Paul at 18 degrees with wind chills approaching negative 30. Milwaukee at 20 with wind chills negative 25. Chicago at 22 degrees with brutal negative 25 wind chills. Detroit at 22 with wind chills between negative 20 and negative 30. That's where frostbite occurs in less than 10 minutes, folks. Exposed skin freezes that fast in those conditions. Cleveland and Buffalo both at 24 degrees with lake effect snow adding 1 to 3 inches. Columbus, Ohio at 24 with dangerous wind chills. But here's where this gets remarkable. That Arctic air is diving all the way to the deep south where nobody's prepared. Atlanta, Georgia at 34 degrees, but you were at 55 just 3 days ago. Your homes aren't insulated for this kind of cold. Wind chills in Atlanta dropping to 3 degrees Sunday morning, Macon at 4, Athens at 1 degree. That's life-threatening for the South.
Dallas and Fort Worth at 36 degrees, Houston at 38, San Antonio at 40, all near record lows. Your pipes aren't protected. Your power grid wasn't designed for sustained cold like this, and that's where things get dangerous. Nashville at 32 with trace snow possible, Memphis at 34, New Orleans at 42, which is frigid for Louisiana. Now check this out, because this is the million-dollar question everyone's asking about the big Northeast cities. Does this hit New York, Philly, D.C. hard, or does it stay offshore? Here's the deal, and why the forecast is so tricky. New York City looking at 0 to 3 inches of light snow. Philadelphia traced to 1 inch. D.C. traced to 1 inch. Baltimore similar. So you big Northeast metros are getting scraped by this, but not buried. However, Cape Cod, you might get absolutely rocked. Boston, 2 to 6 inches possible with the heaviest near Cape Cod, and southern New England seeing potential blizzard conditions. And here's why this forecast is razor thin. If this low tracks just 20 miles farther west than currently modeled, everything changes. New York could go from 2 inches to 8 inches with one small shift. That's how tight the gradient is on this thing. But right now, the highest confidence is the Carolinas and coastal Virginia getting absolutely buried. That's where the bullseye is. Now let me talk about the wind chills, because this is where the real danger multiplies when you lose power. Sunday morning across the Carolinas, wind chills could drop to negative 10 to negative 20 in valley locations. The Appalachian Mountains seeing wind chills as low as negative 28 to negative 30. That's Arctic level cold. Bristol, Tennessee could see wind chills negative 15 to negative 20. Johnson City, similar conditions. Greenville, South Carolina wind chills at negative 2. Charlotte around negative 5. Raleigh at negative 10. This is the kind of cold that kills you if you're stuck without power. And here's why I'm so worried about that. When you combine heavy wet snow with 50 to 80 mile per hour winds, trees come down, power lines snap like twigs. We could see hundreds of thousands without electricity. And picture being without power when it's 10 degrees outside. Your house cools down fast in those conditions. Pipes freeze and burst. This goes from inconvenient to deadly real quick. And wait until you see the coastal flooding forecast, because this storm isn't just about snow. We're looking at 15 to 20 foot waves along the Carolina coast, with some breakers topping 25 feet. Beach erosion, pier damage, coastal flooding similar to what you'd see with a tropical system.
This is a winter hurricane, folks. It has the pressure of a hurricane, the winds of a hurricane, just with snow instead of rain. Now, here's what changed overnight that has every meteorologist scrambling and why this forecast keeps getting worse. The 6 a.m. European model run shifted this track dramatically westward, bringing much heavier impacts inland. Cities that thought they were on the edge of this are now directly in the heavy snow band. That's a huge deal. The GFS model is showing something even more aggressive, with this system potentially becoming a legitimate bomb cyclone. We're talking central pressure dropping from 1,005 to 971 millibars in 24 hours. That's the definition of explosive. When coastal storms undergo this kind of rapid intensification, they can produce incredible amounts of snow in short periods. I'm talking 3 to 4 inches per hour snowfall rates that completely overwhelm any road treatment efforts. And the model agreement on this is remarkable. European, GFS, Canadian model, all showing the same general scenario. When models converge like this, 24 to 48 hours out, confidence is extremely high something major is happening. The only uncertainty is that exact track, and a 20-mile difference determines who gets buried versus who gets a coating. But make no mistake, someone is getting absolutely buried. The question is just exactly where that bullseye sets up. Now let me rapid fire through the rest of the country so everyone knows what to expect. Kansas City at 28 degrees with light snow possible. Wichita at 28. Oklahoma City at 34. Tulsa at 34. Omaha, Nebraska at 22 with sub-zero wind chills. Des Moines at 22 with extreme cold. St. Louis at 28. Denver at 32 with possible snow. Colorado Springs at 30. The Rockies dealing with lingering winter weather. West Coast, completely different story. LA at 62 and dry. San Francisco at 56. San Diego at 60. Seattle at 48 with rain. Portland at 46 and wet. The Pacific Northwest staying mild while the East freezes. Phoenix at 58 and dry. Vegas at 52. Albuquerque at 38. All experiencing cooler than normal, but nothing extreme. Now here's your action plan, because if you're in the affected zone, you need to prepare right now. Not later today, right now. Charge every device to 100%, fill bathtubs with water, gather all blankets in one room. That's your safe room if power fails. Know where warming shelters are. Write addresses on paper, not just in your phone. Stock up on medications now. If you have generators, test them today. Get fuel. Keep them outside 20 feet from windows. Carbon monoxide kills. Never run generators indoors, garages, or enclosed spaces. People die every winter from this exact mistake. Fill heating oil and propane tanks today. Stock firewood if you have a fireplace. Bring pets inside right now. Check on elderly neighbors today. Make sure they have plans and supplies. This is when community saves lives. If you must travel, pack emergency kit with blankets, food, water, flashlight, charger, shovel. Tell someone your route. People get stranded in blizzards and die just a few hundred feet from their car trying to walk for help. Stay with your vehicle. And here's something nobody's talking about yet, but you need to know. There's another system possible next Wednesday. We're 8 days out, so don't lock it in. But GFS and European are both hinting at another coastal threat midweek. February is shaping up to be absolutely frigid and active, with the polar vortex splitting early in the month. That means prolonged Arctic air, multiple winter storm threats. This pattern is locked in for weeks, folks. If you're in the central or eastern states, stay plugged in. This is not one and done. Winter is far from over. Drop your city in comments right now, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for updates. I'll be going live Saturday afternoon covering this in real time as the snow starts falling. This is the kind of storm people talk about for decades. Make sure you're prepared and stay safe out there, folks.